Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today we're going to talk about Icon versus IOTA versus Vechain. Three kind of projects that are a little bit in the same industry, but definitely in different geographic locations. Which one is the best? Which one has the most long-term potential? Which one has the most mid-short-term potential? And we're actually going to look and kind of compare the three. They're all involved in IoT and tracking. IOTA is trying to develop a standard. Obviously, VeChain is trying to take over China, and ICX is going to take over Korea. So, which all three of these, they're all like three of my top 10, top five coins probably to invest in. VeChain pumped in November of last year, and Icon and ICX are actually pumping now. Yes, there is a lawsuit with between two of the co-founders on IOTA, but I think that's more of a short-term thing. Hopefully, I don't think it's going to be too much of a long-term thing. So I don't really put that too much into consideration. Now, which one of these do I think might have the best long-term potential? Probably IOTA. If Jin works out, that can be really huge because that kind of changes computing altogether. Going from binary to trinary, going from 0, 1 to 0, 1, -1 in terms of computer language and like base computer language is enormous. And that could really have like fundamental changes to how computing actually works if they actually get that out. Now, there was supposed to be news on Jin today, but they've delayed it. So if that works out, that could actually like really reshape computing as a whole. Not really sure if that's going to work out or how long that's actually going to take. And IOTA, like a lot of the other partnerships, they're going to rely on stuff like 5G, which probably isn't going to be ready for a couple of years. So long term wise, they actually might have the most expansive, most ambitious goals. So like if you're looking like 10, 15 years out in the future, or 5, 10, 15 years out in the future, IOTA might be the one that you actually look at in terms of these. I honestly would invest in all of these, but I think like 10, 15, like 5, 10, 15 years out in the future, you might want to look at IOTA as the most promising one because it seems to have like global reach. It does seem to have global reach. Um, but the progress for IOTA, because of the ambition and because of some of the technologies that it depends on, might actually be quite slow. Now, ICX is on the other end. ICX, I believe, the technology may not be quite as expansive and futuristic as IOTA, but I think of the three, ICX is actually going to have the fastest development. But it's targeting also the smallest market as well. So the ceiling, like in terms, if you look at the coin, if you look at market caps of coins, the market cap might not be as high, but the development and growth to that market cap might be a lot faster. Also, ICX is actually the lowest market cap of the three coins. So the ROI potential actually might be pretty close to IOTA and VeChain because it's actually worth a lot less than IOTA right now in terms of market cap. So the multiplier actually might be just as high. It's not trying to reinvent computing or anything, but it is targeting Korea. Now, obviously, Korea is a lot smaller than Europe, China, or the world, but it's also on the fastest track to overtake Korea because the government is working closely with Icon now, and that's actually been confirmed in Korea. In fact, there are three big government projects, at least, that are actually using Icon. One is Seoul Metro, another one is a big university, and the other one is with the Department of Security and Food Safety. And all those three are investing in Icon and developing an Icon, and that's actually why Icon is actually going up today. So the thing is, like, the Korean market obviously is a lot smaller than the Chinese market because Korea is a much smaller country, doesn't have as many people, and the industry is not quite as big as China or Europe. But Icon is on a fast track to take over that. Now, Icon notably doesn't really have much outside of Korea, so like that actually might be its cap for the foreseeable future. So it might cap out at like a lower market cap, but because it's so worth so little right now compared to VeChain in terms of VeChain and IOTA in terms of market cap, the ROI might just be there as well. And also, I do think you might see the fastest gains with Icon. So that's why Icon is a good investment. If you're looking within 5 years, Icon might be like the quickest gainer, and you will still get a very good ROI out of it. Now, VeChain is a little bit in the middle. Sunny said like 2019, 2020, up to 2020 was like regulations time, and then 2021 was like to 2025 was massive growth, and then after 2025 might be like the maturity phase. Now, VeChain mostly is in China, but they do have deals outside of China. They do have deals with Italy, and with other countries in Europe and San Marino. So they're Europe and China, and they're trying to get into North America. So their market is global. However, a lot of the countrywide stuff in China with like the vaccines and everything, we don't really know if it has that much to do with Vechain. We don't know if the national blockchain has much to do with Vechain either. And the Chinese government, I think, is a little harder to work with. And things come out a little bit more, quite a bit more slowly because China is a much bigger country. There's more bureaucracy. And plus, China's kind of like a top down structure. You have to like kiss a lot of people's ass and all that stuff. So it actually is going to take, I think, longer than ICX just because of the expanded bureaucracy. We know that like giant expanded bureaucracies move slowly, and China's bureaucracy is at least as big as the United States. So you can imagine how long that actually will take. Now, a lot of VeChain's technology does not depend on other technology like IOTA. They're not trying to reinvent computing with like binary to trinary. They're also not relying on like tech that might not mature for several years, like 5G. But just because of the markets they're working in, especially in China, and all the stuff that goes on there, I think it's probably going to take longer than ICX. However, VeChain is still quite a bit below IOTA in market cap right now. So it might actually it probably has just as high of a multiplier as IOTA. And I think it's going to come a little faster because it doesn't really depend that much on other tech. And the partnerships with VeChain seem to be coming along faster, a little faster than the ones with IOTA. So VeChain, like if you're looking at like, within 5 years, I think it might grow more within 5 years than IOTA. Same thing with ICX. Whereas IOTA, if you're looking at like more than 5 years, 10, 15 years, it might have the highest ceiling in terms of market cap growth. So that's where I see the three coins. All of them have tremendous ROI potential. All of them are very good investments. But I think like if you're looking at a slightly shorter term, I think you want to look at ICX and then VeChain. If you want to look at a longer term, I would say IOTA is probably the one for you. So that's just how I look at the market. Like and subscribe, and click that notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.